Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Metzler, one of the programmers at SF Indie Fest. Really great to have you here. As you know, or maybe heard from me in person or virtually, we've been doing this for 26 years, just kind of bringing some of the most interesting independent films around the world here to San Francisco. And the film you just saw, Slide, is by director-animator Bill Plympton, who we've thankfully been able to have at the festival a couple times over the decade. So welcome back, Bill.
Yes, it's so good to be here. I wish I could be there in person. That would be nice, but I've been traveling a lot.
Most definitely, you're a bit of a road dog. You're it seems like I just over the years you get a chance to kind of travel with your films quite a bit. Is that fun?
Yes, it is. For example, I'm going to Holland in a couple of days to show the film, and then going to Hong Kong and Morocco and a lot of faraway places, which I really enjoy.
Very nice. Well, maybe a good place to start. Can you talk a little bit? What was the genesis of the idea for this film, and is it similar to your other projects in the way that you kind of conceptualize things and then kind of apply your approach?
Yeah, the genesis was I grew up in an area that's very similar to where the film takes place. The hills of Oregon. We're right close to a lot of logging areas, so we saw a lot of logging trucks go by, and this film is about a logging camp, actually. Also, my dad listened to a lot of country westerns, so I would hear Hank Williams and Patsy Cline all day long, and I always thought, nobody's ever done an animated film with, Hank Williams and Patsy Cline. Now, I can't afford their music, but I do have some musicians, Maureen McKellar and Hank Bones, who can do really great stuff. And I brought my little slide guitar, so this is where we got the title, and I'll play a little bit. It's not electrified. It'd be too loud if I plugged it in. But also, we're giving away picks. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Okay, yeah.
Slide picks for people who come to see the film whenever I make an appearance. But anyway, I always thought it'd be fun to do a cowboy film with real old-time country music. I love the old-time country music. And so Hank and Maureen, I went down, they lived in, Hank lives in North Carolina. So I went down to his studio down there, and we spent almost a week working out all the songs, and Maureen was singing all the parts, and Hank sang a bunch. And it really gives the film a unique sense of history. I mean, this is like the origins of country music, and this is a real cowboy music. So it was really a treat for me. Putting the film together was very traditional. Basically, I wrote a little outline of what I wanted to happen in the film. It's kind of a Clint Eastwood meets Mel Brooks. If they were cartoonists, this would be what they make, because the lead character is Slide, and he's this mythical cowboy character who somehow, with his music, is able to get rid of the bad guys. This town the plot takes place is called Sourdough Creek, and there's a big battle here between the peace-loving people and the evil mayor and his brother, who are corrupt politicians in the town of Sourdough Creek. So once I did the outline, then I do a storyboard. I do two storyboards. One storyboard is very tiny, about this big. The drawings are this big, very tiny. And then once I approve that, then I'll make the drawings about this big, a little bit bigger. And those are my basically my my concept art. I will use those drawings when I go through the film. I will go drawing by drawing and say, okay, this scene, the background's here. We got the sun in the sky. We have loggers with saws and chainsaws and stuff like that. So that's really the magical part, is where I go for my little rough sketches to the animation. And for this one, I believe it or not, I didn't use a light box. I'm very traditional. I use basically a pencil and paper. And I'm so lazy. I would sit on my couch, watch movies on TV. I have TCM and I watch all the movies, and I'm here doing the drawings on a little styrofoam board. And instead of using a light box, I would hold the drawing up to the light, make sure the holes line up. And so it's a little rough. The animation is a little rough, but I kind of like that. The animation is very no, I don't want to say crude, but it's not, it's handmade. It looks like it was made by a person. It's not like a Pixar film or a Disney film. Owen, can you get one of the postcards? I forgot to get the postcards here. So
how has your approach evolved kind of over time? I mean, in the sense that like, do you make kind of adjustments between each film in the sense of like new ways that you kind of approach the storytelling, or do you kind of lean on the kind of things that that kind of have worked out well for you?
Here's the artwork I was talking about. Can you see that? Is that too high? I don't know if it's too high or not.
Lower, a little bit lower.
Yeah, you can see it's very monochromatic and kind of old style silent film look, but it's very dramatic. But to answer your question, basically I'll go through the whole film, do all the animation, edit it together, put it together, and then test it. Show it to some friends, show it to strangers. I have a school here, School of Visual Arts, and they will look at the film and give me their feedback. And then I will go in and make changes. Now, obviously, when you're editing a film, especially a feature film, there's a lot going on and there's a lot of fixes that have to be done. And so a lot of it are fixing the color, fixing the shadows, fixing the movement, fixing the jokes, doing the voices. It's a lot of work doing an animated film. And quite frankly, this film took the longest of any of my films. Usually they're about three years to make an animated feature. This one took 7 years, and that was because of COVID. COVID hit me hard, not personally. I never got sick, but in terms of my theaters, TV shows, film festivals, comic conventions, those all shut down. And so I really ran out of money quite quickly. And so that's when I started to take outside work, commission work. I did some Simpsons, Couch Gag stuff. I did a lot of music videos, anything I could to make money, and I had to stop working on this film. So only within the last year or so, I've been able to concentrate 100% on the film, and we finished it up just about a week ago, actually. It was finally finished a week ago. So to answer your question, I do go back and make a lot of changes and a lot of fixes and change things around and move characters around. And that's the fun part of making a film.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I was curious what that editorial process was like. I mean, in the sense that if, when you talk about like kind of changing color and things like that, I mean, are you having to kind of recreate frames and scenes like from scratch, or is it more adjusting what you already have?
Both. Let me see if I can get some scenes here. This. Can you find a couple of shots from the film? What happened was we originally planned the film to be full color, and I started working on it. It looked nice, but then one of my drawings, I used very similar colors to these, just monochromatic. And that just said everything. It was an old film. It was a Western. It was raw. It was not Technicolor spectacular. It was more of a smallish, darker film noir film. And that's what I wanted to do. Here we go. This is Owen. Owen brought some drawings.
Owen?
So the technique that I used Well, this is a good one here. Is this is it's an adult film. It's not for kids. This is the madame who runs the prostitution house in the town, and you don't see her lips here because they're at another level. But it's I basically went in with a ballpoint pen and did all the outline work and the shading and all that, and then I went in with a colored pencil and did all the color detail. Now, this one looks like it's full color, but actually, when we started to edit it together, we muted the color so it became more of a sepia. So it looks
Huh.
like a whole piece of film. A lot of the original artwork does have full color, but in the film, it turns out more sepia.
Huh. And let me ask you a question. I was curious, you mentioned about when you were drawing, sometimes you're watching, kind of old movies on TV and,
Yeah.
no, you travel around a lot. What would you describe the way you kind of see the world, I guess, when you're, on the road traveling or while you're watching it? I mean, are you looking for, are you picking up details and things that you respond to that you kind of jot away that you bring into your animations, or is it just more just living, I guess?
Well, one thing that I really do, and I think it's very important, is if you're a filmmaker, is to sit through the screening of the film, especially if I'm in Morocco or Hong Kong or some really foreign place, and see where the humor works. Because I've found that, believe it or not, the jokes that I tell here in English really work in a foreign country. Because they're mostly visual jokes. So I find that if it's laughs here and it'll laugh in Hong Kong. But that doesn't always work. And sometimes the jokes just don't work at all. Nobody laughs. So I'm testing the film and how to make it better. And next time I make a film, I don't do that again, or I get inspired by other ideas where people laugh that I wasn't expecting. That's kind of kooky, but that's happened a few times where they laugh at just a regular straight deal. So that's mostly what I do is check out how the audience responds to this film, and that's very important. And I think any filmmaker who really loves film and wants to be a filmmaker, you have to do that. And it's kind of brutal, sometimes people don't laugh at all, they don't get the joke. It's passes by over their head, and then you got to take the joke out if it doesn't work.
So yeah, it seems like, I guess, you really kind of respect that kind of collaborative aspect of, artist and the audience, I guess, in some ways.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very important.
Well, I know that there's going to be folks here in the audience that have seen some of your films in the past, and they'll be kind of neat to see this new one. But I also know that we have also people that this is the first time they might have seen one of your films, and I would definitely recommend them to kind of go and go watch some of your older work. Is there a place that they can go online to watch and rent it? Is that on your website? So any ways that we can kind of watch more of your work and also kind of help spread the word about Slide?
Yeah, we do have what was it, plimptunes.com?
Yeah, but we have a lot of stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff's on YouTube, but we're setting up a new site because the old one doesn't work so well now. So that'll be coming up soon. It's plimptunes.com. And also you can buy artwork on that site too. All my original drawings are for sale. And that's another way that I'm able to finance my films. But one of the cool things is my older films are starting to become popular again. The Toon, which is my first animated feature, and I think the first animated feature that spawned this whole movement now of everybody making a feature film on animation on their home laptop, which I think is cool. I think it's great. I'm glad more people have guts to work through a feature film at home. And that's being re-released, I believe, this summer. I could be mistaken. And then two more of my films we're talking about releasing. I Married a Strange Person and Mutant Aliens. We may re-release those. So these are all films that were shot on film shot on a regular 35 millimeter camera. And now we're digitizing them. We're not, but the distributor is. They're digitizing the films and releasing them not only on movie theaters, but also on Blu-ray, DVD, digital format. So that helps answer your question of, you know, how people can see all my early stuff. And it really kind of disappointed me, the early films I did. I thought they were quite good, especially you know, Hair High is a classic, and I Married a Strange Person. And I think one of the problems I had, well, I know one of the problems I had was that my films were for adults, they weren't for kids. And a lot of distributors feel like, well, you're not for kids, who's going to watch animation for adults? You know, there's no audience for that. So that I didn't get really good distribution. But now people are starting to understand my, you know, my humor, my storytelling, and they're re-releasing the films. And so that's really a really nice thing. Could I tell you a little anecdote?
Yeah.
I was in Sundance. This was around 2000, I think, maybe a little earlier. And I had a film there called I Married a Strange Person, which is my most outrageous film, really very, very twisted and sexy and violent. And audience was loving it in Sundance. They were applauding, they were standing up, they were crowding me, they all wanted to talk to me. So I was feeling good about the film. However, nobody bought it. Nobody bought the film. And I was on a bus, and if you've been to Sundance, you know there's snow everywhere, and these buses are sloshing through the snow trying to get you to the next cinema. And I saw the guy who was the head of Lionsgate Films. His name was Tom something. I can't remember his last name. And I knew him. I met him at another party. So I went up to him. And I said, "Hey, I'm Bill Plympton. I got my new film, I Married a Strange Person here. Would you like to, you know, look at it and see it?" He said, "You know, Bill, I'm sorry, but I got so many films I have to see. I only have so many minutes in a day. I just can't see it. I'm so sorry." And I really was kind of upset, you know, because he was a buddy. And I kind of turned away, and then just then this snowboarder jumps on the bus, and he's got this little knit cap, you know, with snow falling down his face, and he's dripping water and everything, and his snowboard was just covered with snow. And he looks at me and says, "Damn, you're Bill Plympton. Whoa, dude, I love I Married a Strange Person. That film rocks." And bam, he jumped out of the bus and started skiing down a mountain. And that was it. For like 1 minute, he was there and he was gone. And so the guy from Lionsgate says, "Well, maybe I should look at this film." And sure enough, he looked at it, he loved it, he bought it, and it made a lot of money. And I actually got royalty checks, which is really rare in the Hollywood business, to get a royalty check from for an independent film. So that's the film business. It's just never know, you know, who's going to figure it out and who's going to really understand what's going on there.
Well, cool. Well, thanks again for making the films that you do, Bill, and also joining us here to do this Q&A. We'll look forward to the next film, and then obviously keep us posted, because we'll keep on spreading the word about the kind of re-releases and things, just because we all love hearing what you do.
Okay, one thing I do want to tell people when they watch the film, check out the Sugar Shaker. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but maybe your imagination, but check out the Sugar Shaker. Everybody loves it.
I'm gonna have to go back and check it out.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks again, Bill.
Okay,
all the best with your travels.
Thank you. Thanks for talking to me.
All right. Take care, guys. Thanks.
Bye.